Hey everybody, I am going to walk us through the first project in the advanced editing section called Working with Color. If you click on this link, it's going to go to the adobe.com instructions about working with the color and look of your clips. I do want you to watch all of these and learn all the steps that they are going to take you through with the downloaded project files, and then I'll show you what I want you to turn in. So download these files, they're about a gigabyte. When you go in there, you're going to open up the first one to go through the first step, or whichever one of these, you're eventually going to open them all. As you do that, it's going to convert the project into the most recent version of Adobe Premiere. And then it's also got a couple of things open already, and you're going to need those to listen to the instructions on adobe.com. But for what I'm going to have you do, we'll close all those and then go to this clip down here that is an interview with these dudes who are in this group Ninja Sonic. Be sure and Google them, they're not too shabby. But obviously the look of this came out kind of red, the camera settings were not great. So we're going to make a new sequence from this clip. So I'm going to right click, go down here to new sequence from clip, or since I don't have anything in here, I can just drag this file in here, and that creates a new sequence. And it has the name, unfortunately, of Ninja Sonic Interview 1, which is the same as the clip, and we hate that, so I'm going to click that once and type in Willis color fix, maybe. That works, and now that's the name of my project, and that'll be the name of my exported file later. What we're going to do with this clip, and I've actually shortened it down, I just grabbed about, actually this is way too long, I've got several minutes of these guys. I'm going to cut it down to about 15-20 seconds. So I've just shortened it way back by grabbing it on the right side. Then I'm going to hit plus on my keyboard and the up arrow, and now I see I've got about 15 seconds of these guys talking, or 20 seconds, which is fine. What we're going to do is apply some color effects and kind of add to it each time we go. So first thing I'm going to do is have my original raw footage here for about 5 seconds, or maybe even less, about 3 or 4 seconds. Then I'm going to cut this clip, and this is my unfixed raw footage. And then on this next section here, I want to adjust the white balance. So with that selected, I'm going to go over here to the Lumetri color panel. If you're not seeing these, you may want to go to Window, Workspaces, and All Panels, and that way you've got access to everything over here on the right. And then inside here, I want to be on Basic Correction. And I'm going to use this white balance eyedropper to select something white from this scene, like the numbers on his shirt, or his hat, or the windows, or this guy's shirt. I'm going to go with the hat. And you notice what that did was it adjusted the tint and added a little more green to the scene. I'm also going to add a little more blue after I've used the white balance tool. And I always just kind of play around with these and just see what they do. But it looks like now white looks more white as opposed to over here. It looks more pinkish. You can always see the before and after by clicking on this checkbox. So that's before and that's after. It's a little too green, maybe. Back off on that just a tad. Now I'm going to, after we do the white balance, go in here about 5 more seconds in. I'm going to cut this with Command K, so it cuts it where the blue line is. Then I'm going to select the last half, and I'm going to go in here and apply a LUT. So LUTs are right up here under Basic Correction. And the most common LUT that you may want to use is Rec 709. If you're shooting raw footage, sometimes you want to just bring it back to normal. That didn't look very good though, so I'm going to try some of these others. I'm trying to remember which one I went with last time. I believe it was the default Alexa default log. Nope. Okay, ARRI Universal DCI looks okay. I think that's what I'm going to go with, or HD. Kind of just punched it up, made it more contrasty. It's a little dark. We're going to fix that next. Or I could adjust the exposure a little bit right now. So bringing those guys back in. I'm going to save this for last though. So I'm going to, that is applying the LUT. I'm going to split it one more time. Then over here, I'm going to make that exposure adjustment. Brighten these guys up a little bit. You could also try to bring the shadows back in a little bit. So then the last thing I'm going to do is split it one last time. So that was the exposure adjustment. And last I'm going to go down here to color wheels. You're welcome to use curves or HSL secondary, anything else you're used to using. But I like color wheels because you can look at all human skin tone tends to live in these mid-tones. And a lot of times we just want to brighten up people's faces. So bring them up and also make sure white looks white and flesh looks like flesh. So if they're a little too red or blue or anything, we can drag this away from blue towards orange or red to make them look a little more warm. You can pull it back towards blue if you want to make people look a little less lifelike. But typically I want to warm up people's skin tones and brighten up their faces a little bit. And if we compare the before and after, the raw footage, all red and pink to nice white, black, solid white, flesh tones look good. It's a big improvement. I might even go back and go to contrast here and just punch up that contrast just a little bit more. So that looks like a good progression. The last thing I'm going to do here is apply some titles to this, which we haven't done yet. But I'm going to put a title on this that says raw footage. So this is the raw footage that we got from the camera. So I drag a text box with the type tool. Then if you want to drag that around or adjust it, I'm just going to keep it on the left side of the screen, but you could center it. I am going to turn on, under Essential Graphics, I've got this text selected. I'm going to turn on a stroke and make that black. So just have a little bit of a black outline around that so it stands out a little more. I'm going to push that all the way back left and make it end where that first edit takes place below it. Now I'm going to copy and paste it. I could hit Command C and Command V, but watch what happens here, and we'll talk about why that is. Well, it pasted it right after it, so that's fine. So the second one, I'm going to change the words from raw footage to white balance. So, or white balanced, because that's what we did during that section. Another way to copy and paste, by the way, is hold down Option on your keyboard, and as you drag, it'll just create a new clip so you don't have to hit more keys. I'm going to change that one to Apply LUT, which those LUTs are just different ways of interpreting the data. That's called a lookup table. Didn't explain that earlier. I'm going to drag this one, and that was where we did the exposure. So I'm going to type in here, adjust exposure, and get rid of the word LUT. And then the last one was where we did final looks for the color wheel. So adjust color wheel. You could also put flesh tones or something like that. But now I've got all these things kind of showing off what I'm doing. Last thing I'm going to do is just spice this up a little bit. I'm going to go to Video Transition under Effects and do some kind of wipe between each one. So I'm just going to do a standard wipe. And I'm going to drop that in there. The other thing I'm going to do is double click this wipe. Actually click it, select it. I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit with plus or minus on the keyboard. Select the wipe. Okay, so it is selected. Effect controls. Now the effect controls here are for this wipe. And I'm going to give it a border. So that way, like a 5 pixel border. That way when we see it wipe across the screen here, it should show us, yep, a little black line there, which I like. Alright, so I've got that selected. Hit Command C, select up there, hit Command V, and hopefully this will wipe where we see the text and the video change. I'm going to do the same things here, so I've still got it copied, putting it on each one of these transitions, and I'm careful not to adjust the timing of it so that they remain synced. And let's play that back from the beginning. Go from raw footage to
you can just talk to me over the camera. So
white balanced.
Tell us where you're from.
Well, I'm Telly. I'm Ben Roby. And when Ninja Sonic and
Just
from
do the
Brooklyn,
exposure.
New York. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
From the Bronx, New York.
Unfortunately, he's from
What the what? I
You
have put
guys
those
have-
two
you guys
titles
have
backwards now
one.
that I think about it. So this one should say adjust exposure. I think I did that last. So I'm going to go up here, double click, put adjust exposure. And back on this one, it was apply the LUT. I believe that's the order I did. I could have done this as I went. That might have made it easier. All right, and then we're going to export this. Go to File, Export Media. Make sure this blue line is around either this window or this window because that's what I want to export. It's going to have the title, Realist Color Fix. I've already made one of those in the past, but I want to make sure I know where that's going. I'm going to match the source footage settings and make sure it's H.264. Click on Export down here, and that is the file I'm going to upload to the link on eLearn. Thanks for watching.